Hello again. It's Tuesday, the 15th of July, 2025, and we're going to take a deep dive and look behind the headline at what was Ncuti'S saying about his exit and what was really going on. A bit of smoke and mirrors, we feel. And by the way, before I do my spiel about the sense sphere, we know there's breaking news. We'll talk about it first. So just stick with us for a moment. We'll obviously talk about Ncuti'S, but if there's breaking news, we're online. So stick with us for that. We try our best to talk sense, make sense about all this Doctor Who nonsense. We are the sense sphere after all. If you're new, welcome aboard. We love debate on this channel. We love the truth. We love diverse ranges of views. I do always try and get diverse ranges of views on. If it sounds like an echo chamber, because some people say no. But we try not to be an echo chamber if we can help it. So hopefully we can earn your subscription, your like, and your future support. And don't forget, quick bit of house kind of rules. We have our source whisperer. That's me, sorry. And yes, a very well-connected source as well, with some fruity source who tells us various bits and bobs that are going on. So today's breaking news, I'll try and get some news back to you tomorrow or Thursday. It'll take a little while. I mean, a source in the media, if they're authentic, they don't sit around just talking to me, do they? So I'll see if they've got any info on the latest. I promise you that. But let's get the people on. I've got two tonight. We had Joe last night. Got two tonight. I like to give you a range, and so of course he hasn't been on for a tiny while. We've all been having a rest because they work so hard. He's back though. He's back. Here he is. It's Sonny.
Howdy, howdy, Captain Sonny Waffles. I'm back again to talk about this loser, but let's see how it goes.
Yes, I know. What a return for you, me doing this here. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying.
And another lad we used to have on, but especially the bi-generates, but obviously I rested that just for this busy season, which is now over. So here he is, he's back. It's James as well. Hiya.
You're right. How
We're
are
all
we
back.
doing?
It's like a reunion.
Everybody's back. We've turned the clock back 6 months.
That's
The
it.
boys are back.
I bring you back for bad news or good news. I don't know what is this, but we'll get straight to it now. Actually, as I said, before I even get to the Ncuti'S news, we're going to have to do some breaking news. Isn't that exciting? But what I will do, just to make sure everybody knows where we stand, because I like to be, classic teacher me, headlines. These are the ones we're going to do over the show. The reason Ncuti'S offered to the BBC for his exit. The real reasons we think that Ncuti'S left Doctor Who. My source helped me with one or two there. The Doctor exits over the years from William Hartnell onwards. We thought that would be a nice tasty one. What we thought was fair, went wrong and all that. The Ncuti'S explanation for missing Eurovision. And we might have a few words about the whole Gatwa era. That's obviously to come. But obviously, I was just setting up, lads, and there was a little bit of news. So I think the thread would really like us to first of all give our first take on the little bit of news. So here I go. Doctor Who, the BBC is committed to the sci-fi series amid uncertainty about the show's future. Tony Fussell, or whatever, CEO of BBC Studios, has spoken about the future of Doctor Who following the release of the BBC's annual report. Basically, Sonny, he's pretending he's excited. So
I'm vindicated.
So just so you know, Sonny, at the moment the BBC has to do its annual report because it is a public service broadcaster. So there's an awful lot that they announced today how much their celebrities were paid and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, today's the day you get to hear lots of stuff. Fussell said BBC Studios are really committed to Doctor Who and are continuing to look at ways in which we can bring the show to fans. He added, fans love the Doctor Who brand. It's been that way since before I was in short trousers. Right. I don't think that's... It's not even saying anything, is it, James, that so far?
Well, I mean, my alarm bells automatically start ringing when I see that word brand.
Well, I'll put it back up just so you can... Well, I know what you mean because I'm always concerned, James and Sonny, that when we talk about a brand, especially when they want it to be a global brand, yes, you want success. The trouble is, the more global that's wanted Doctor Who, the more we've lost Doctor Who.
Mm.
Changed so much,
It
don't you
is a
think?
brand though.
Sounds like all this kind of Hooniverse kind of stuff again that we've had before, and they've tried to do, and they're trying to. I mean, I know we haven't seen it yet, but we all know it hasn't been commissioned for a second series, so you know. And then they're talking about this cartoon version as well, and I'm just worried that
Yeah.
that's all they're talking about. Like they're not really talking about trying to. And at this point, it would be revived.
Well, there is a bit more, James. I'll show the last two bits I grabbed because that first bit is froth, isn't it?
Mhm.
And then I think it's this one's next. Commenting on the continuing uncertainty around the Disney partnership, Fussell praised the streamer as a crucial partner to BBC Studios as a whole, adding, "We share a lot of the same values, so I'm really proud of the way that relationship has worked." Meanwhile, the BBC is set to expand the Universe as it launches plans for a brand new preschool animation series a la CBBS, as James was just saying. Now, I haven't talked to my source today, but what I will say, lads, is that is not saying that they're really committed to any brand new series at all, because my friend in the media has said, well, they expected that Disney would play ball and would be very polite with the BBC going forwards because they do work closely on loads of different things. Just because they're maybe not commissioning season three doesn't mean they're going to be rude to each other. So that so far, lads, still isn't telling us any news. I know some streamers will have gone big on that. It actually doesn't say anything to me, Sonny. Does it you?
It tells me they're still in delusion land, Delulu land, where they think they can expand a universe that is already destroyed. And so when they say commitment to the brand, it's like, oh, I'm happy that they're gonna keep pushing Doctor Who, right? They know they can't get rid of it, which is what I want. But then he started talking about the sea babies again, and it's like, dude, that's not that's not gonna help us. So
No,
they're in
no.
delusion land.
So there's one more slide. So just so everybody's going, Brendan, have you got the breaking news? Yes, I have. Except I don't really think it's proper breaking news. And anybody out there who's going to do a stream on this, it's having been educated so lovely and nicely by this media source. They've already kind of rehearsed me on this that Disney, if they're leaving the partnership with Doctor Who, they're still going to be very cooperative and nice because they all work with each other on so many things. So, just to remind you, everybody, he just says they are a crucial partner. Yeah, that doesn't tell us anything about season three, does it? And this is the final one. The BBC is looking for a passionate production company to create and produce that CBBS pre-animation, which I'm
Yeah.
not excited by because I happen to be 57, for God's sake. Speaking about the plans, Patricia Hildago, Director of Children's Education, said everyone is welcome at CBBS, including the Doctor. So, basically, that is not worth me doing a stream. I want everyone in the thread to see that and go, that's nothing. That's just the BBC doing an annual report because they're legally are bound to. They've got to talk to their shareholders and they've got to talk to the British public. And they'll just say positive spin on stuff. I mean, James, you picked on the word brand, but I can't think there's anything there to get my teeth into.
No, corporate twaddle. It's just it's like they've got this rock and they're saying there could be minerals inside this rock, although maybe there isn't.
Yeah, it
It's
They're
you
pushing
know,
it.
I used to have to do annual reports, obviously, even in teaching for. I don't mean for kids. I mean for the governors, and you have to come up with spin. And this is all this is. It's a very expensive spin because it's a whole booklet. Um, Richard Thomas, they need to rebuild the Hooniverse, not expand it. Oh, you are so right.
yeah,
You are
yeah,
so right.
yeah.
Cart before the
They,
horse.
they sound like they're a month behind. Like they're still saying the same things they said almost 2 months ago, and it's like they haven't actually progressed, which is crazy because it's a progress report, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not going to indulge anymore. We've addressed it. We've looked at it. I see nothing there. And actually,
Mm.
I was told that's how they were going to talk from my source. And Donald Cowie question: do you know about planning for Comic Con International at the end of July? You mean San Diego? All I know is whatever your that big hall is it H? That there's not many panels in there. That Marvel and everything seems to have downgraded, partly because of slightly less interest and enthusiasm. That there was talk that our Sea Devils thing might be there, but maybe it's not now. But they might just mention stuff. Yeah, and you're right, James Richard. Breaking news, there's no news. I've addressed it now, but I will not be rude to you all who've come along. That's it. I mean, gosh, could you do a stream on that? The answer's no. So, we're here for this reason. Ncuti'S given his reason for quitting Doctor Who. I'm going to read this out, lads, and I'm going to see what everybody says, and they'll have watched other streamers about this, and they'll maybe have watched the interview, and then I'll tell you what me and the source were saying before even that interview. So here we go. Ncuti'S reason for quitting. So he went on Laura Kunsberg's show, which is basically BBC One. It's our politics show in the morning, our Sunday morning. They have the big Sundays, and he was on there as if he's a celebrity. Okay, and Ncuti Gatwa reveals whether he'd return to Doctor Who as well. Gosh, he's only just gone. I mean, you know. After his physical, emotional, mental toll of the role. God, he sounds like some sort of hostage. He sounds as though he's been in a war. You know, he sounds like, you know, are you
But
a
he thinks
prisoner
he
of war?
is.
I mean, honestly, I expect people coming back from the Far East after the Second World War and stuff not to talk like that. Dear me. So, yes, Ncuti Gatwa has opened up on departing Doctor Who after a short tenure of 5 minutes. Yeah, blink and you missed it. There he is, flying away. Bye. So,
Think of the wires, Brendan. His back hurts.
Mad Mackham, oh, you're old enough for Jackanory, Brendan. Yeah, and we can sniff out a Jackanory when we hear it as well. Stephen Bellows getting. There's always somebody who gets ahead of the news before. I know they've seen it elsewhere, but we'll get to all that stuff. The knees. Yeah, my dad was laughing his head off. My dad's had his knees replaced. He was laughing his head off. Right, so what I will say, out of fairness, lads, Sonny and James, is the role is much more physical now than I think Doctor Who needs to be. This is the fault of New Who. This is the fault of RTD now, that he's made him into a kind of version of Superman, Marvel. Uh, the Doctor isn't that. And if he's knackered him, I think he's actually, you know, why is he always, why were the dancing in Devil's Cord? He didn't need to do all that choreography and tire himself out with all that rehearsal, because that's not what the Doctor does. It, you know, running around, yeah, there's always a bit of running around with Doctor Who, but normally they're very short studio corridors, aren't they? Big budget means he has to run further. Oh, oops. Smaller budget helps his legs. So yeah, and this is the final one. I'll get your feedback, lads, before we go over all the other stuff. I'm getting old, he said. And as soon as somebody says something that can't be true, you know for a fact this is an absolute smoke and mirrors job. What were you thinking, Sonny, when you heard this or you've seen this for the first time?
You would think he's a basketball player. Like, he has to constantly jump and dunk over people, and he's in the gym 50 or 10 hours a day. He's 32. You're an actor. You dance for Barbie, I think? Like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, it's just very ridiculous, flamboyant, and over the top. It's like, stop.
I've got what's that? I love it. I can never 60 XD. How did it become so mentally taxing for him when his stories were so bad? The truth is, if the scripts are so bad, you have to keep thinking, what's my acting choice? I'll cry. What's my acting choice?
That's
think I'll, yeah. I mean, he has to think, what the hell do I do with this? James, what were you thinking when I flicked through these all this info?
Oh, I didn't think you liked that kind of language on your show.
Well, I didn't read it out.
No, I mean, he's 32 years old. I mean, look at Capaldi. I mean, he was throwing himself around with a guitar and sword fighting Robin Hood, and he's a lot older than 32. I'm not saying he's an old man, but he's a lot older than 32. It's just an excuse. It's kind of, well, it's the real life manifestation of the constant crying of his so-called character.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean. I'll talk about ages in a minute regarding the other actors, but Alphabet Cat, 32 is apparently too old for Doctor Who. I would have thought nowadays sadly it's becoming the norm. I'd love an older Doctor, but I have to say, RTD and Stephen Moffat and Chris Chibnall need to rewrite what Doctor Who is, because they have made it a little bit more. When I say American, they've gone for that Marvel thing, and that is not Doctor Who. And actually, if you just wrote proper Doctor Who, it's just walking and talking and sitting and thinking and doing that sort of stuff. Sorry, this is not Doctor Who. And if you've knackered and bust the knees of your actor, or you've tired them out, that's on you, showrunners. But you weren't delivering.
I think the most tiring Doctor Who episode is Modern Undead, where they got the Brigadier in his old age to run up and down this hill like 5 times. But even that was like fake, so I don't know. Kind of crazy.
That's a good point. That poor Brigadier was going, I've had a nervous breakdown, I'm up and down this hill, and Turlo's crashed my car. Jess, it will be interesting to give the report a read as to what was paid out on Doctor Who. The word whitewash comes to mind. Yes, if we can get hold of that, that'd be a tasty one. Now that's a news program. Farsight, it would have been more emotionally and physically taxing in the 60s when they had to do everything in one take, and 40 odd episodes. Yeah,
I mean, stand out in freezing cold quarries,
and some of it was live as well. Anthony Parkinson, people like Gatwa always have to manufacture drama with themselves. Well, it's the victim mentality to a degree, but I sense, don't you, he's not the brightest button. I also think his marketing team's not very good. But let's go into some of the details. So here, just to be fair, if he's moaning about 32, he is very old, because Matt Smith was 26 and Peter Davison was 29 and David Tennant was 34. Jodie Whittaker, 35, William Hartnell and Peter Capaldi were 55. And, away. So, and Peter Capaldi, and we will look at the reasons they all left tonight. Peter Capaldi, to be fair, Sonny, does refer to the role dominating your life for 10 months a year, and he needs to move on. And so there's maybe a bit of agreement there with Ncuti'S.
I don't know. The ages tell me that the Doctor isn't limited by age, because he's technically thousands of years old anyway, right? The best Doctors are Tom Baker and Peter Capaldi, which I think plays it more old. So that tells me the inherent character of the Doctor is older. So the older you are, the more in line with the character you should be. But there's exceptions like Matt Smith, for example. So
yeah, I was going to say I want to throw Matt Smith in there. He did an amazing kind of old head on young shoulders kind of thing. I think he did an absolutely amazing job.
He has an old face.
Yeah, and we do. And by the way, yes, well spotted, Alphabet Cat. Tom Baker broke his collarbone in the Sontaran experiment and had to battle on. We also know that it's anecdotal, but Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi both had injuries while doing Doctor Who. We know that too. Michael Nemo, thank you very much. Good to see you. Getting old is like RTD saying that Eccleston was always going to be in only one season. Ncuti'S wasn't getting enough LGBT validation. That's it.
Wow.
Getting old is like RTD saying that Eccleston was always going to be in only one season. To me, Michael Nemo, I think the truth is it's such a stupid, lame, weak, nonsensical statement. It shows you they can't go anywhere near anything else because they can't show the truth. Now, I will say what I know. in a moment. But the point is, this is what he says. This is his truth. But it doesn't mean much. Now, thank you, Michael Nemo, for starting the Shonky Chats. And for that, I have made a brand new segment just for you. Does everyone like a bit of Carol Ann Ford? She wasn't in the finale. She's in ours. Here we go. Here's the Who-Pet saying, thank you, Michael Nemo. The Susan way. Oh, this is nice. This is nice. Just remember, I'm your granddad. Yeah, Susan. Wait, what's going on here? Put your hand off that. What's it? Love all your work on Doctor Who, RTD. I've always got my hanky out. How many more seasons of Doctor Who have you written? You never know. I may have written as many as 5. Feels different this time. Oh, regenerating! You unearthly child. There you go. Thank you, Michael Nemo. Made just for you. Any more Shonky Chats available? I will keep delivering. So there you go. Ages of the actors. He's basically on trend, so that's nothing. So let's have a look at more excuses then. Why did you walk away from Doctor Who, says Laura Kunsberg, a paid BBC employee. It's always interesting when the BBC interviews BBC people. And he says, because I'm getting old and my body was tired. I've now just started doing some ballet, so I'm making some good decisions here. Laugh, laugh, laugh. He had on his shirt Ballet Black. So he's part of this unit that's been going since 2001. Ballet. We know that ballet is one of the most strenuous, challenging on every joint and limb. And this is where I say he's not the brightest button. He does the line that the marketing team he does have a team. I'm old and I'm tired. I had to move on. Yeah. And that's why I'm doing ballet. And he had to laugh because, I mean, sorry, Sonny, have you seen this quote? I mean,
it's what I was thinking, right? But it's crazy that he said it out loud because, like you said, he's not that smart, or he's like really smart and he's like telling everybody it's an obvious lie, right? I'm doing ballet like football players do, right? If you can do football, you can keep acting as Doctor Who. So it's crazy to think, but I don't know. It is very funny because they know it's a lie. And so the BBC's lying to us on purpose. like they're not even going to pretend they believe their own lie or what?
Yeah, it doesn't hit the ground. I'll just do these few and I'll come to you, James. Terrified Monk says, I take pride in the fact that I'm almost 50 and I can run circles around the kids I work with and I'm out of shape. Laugh out loud. Yeah, exactly. The rest of us just get on with it. It's a non-story, Shooty, because you're not telling us the truth. Jess, Doctor Who on hiatus, 2 years, 5 years, infinity is what is in the mire. They trashed it, and what they did will take far too long to even repair. I have a bit of hope that if given 5 or 6 years, which is going to take a while, if they start getting it together, 5 or 6 years, we could start to see a new iteration of Doctor Who. But if they start to kind of do the other version, which is, well, let's try and do a few specials with RTD while we've got the TARDIS there, if it's still there, blah, 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 then we're going down the same rabbit hole. But remember, I've got a special on the BBC's attitude to Doctor Who coming up very soon with loads of inside information. And that one will probably reveal that you probably don't want Doctor Who to be in BBC's hands at all, ever. It's been bad enough than being in charge. James, what are you thinking thus far?
Well, I mean, as we've all been saying, it's obviously a load of horse. He can't. That's like saying, well, I'm giving up boxing because I'm too old. I'll see you at New Year's for World's Strongest Man.
Yes, yes.
It's clearly an absolute fabrication.
He even went back to they did a Barbie thing, didn't they, when he went back? So when he was the Doctor, he went back and he did an extra dance for the Oscars or something. I mean, he's quite happy to do extra. He's quite happy to squeeze a lot more into his life. This is, Right, and don't worry, I'm going to get to what I understand are the real reasons why people are leaving, all the rest of it. Regeneration faded to black, just like how it should have been. That would have helped. I think it would have helped an awful lot. Anthony Parkinson, RTD in a ballerina outfit is the stuff of nightmares. Did you see that? He was actually in. Well, I know that one. I know. Did you see the effect he has on everybody in the street? Oops.
I don't need nightmares.
I was being very naughty there, but he did give me the quote, did RTD, about people getting very excited when they watch his programs. Terrified monk, too bad he couldn't say the truth. The series was going nowhere, so he got out. We all know. The thing is, how patronizing to just say stuff all the time. We are being fed by politicians, by actors, by public servants, by the BBC, by it seems like nearly everybody blather. Nobody will tell us the truth because they're scared that we might give a bit of lip back or we might say exactly. Because if he said the truth, of course, everybody would say he agrees with us then. There you go. So,
Right.
yes, I will come to it. Don't worry.
Being
Eastern
proven wrong.
Burkholder, RTD started to hate me and act psychotic and angry, so I thought I needed to leave. Well, yes, they don't say too much about each other at the moment. So, anyway, point is, why did you walk away from Doctor Who? I'm getting old. That's just nonsense. My body's tired. He might be tired. Cardiff is a pain in the neck, lads. I understand that. People don't want to be stuck 10 months in Cardiff. That's the truth. I've been told that by media people. They just don't want to be there. So that's one reason. But there's the truth, lads. You know, this is the Ncuti'S who's tired and old and wants to lay down with a Horlicks.
Yeah,
Really.
it looks ancient, doesn't he?
He looks ancient and he looks as though he's trying to calm down. He doesn't make those muscles. You know, he's got a good body. He doesn't have muscles like that by, you know, not going to the gym. And if he's going to the gym, he's obviously going to tire himself out as well as do a day's work. We all know doing a day's work and doing the gym on top makes you more tired.
Yeah.
If you're not coping, mate, just tell us. But, you know, come on, it's getting silly, that. It's not gaslighting. It's like, I am of noble blood and you cannot contradict me. We'll have to get your genealogy, Eastland Burkholder. Right, then the next bit, lads. It's the most amazing job in the world. Of course, here we go. All we've had tonight is blather. It's a job that any actor would dream of, and because it's so good, it's strenuous. It takes a lot out of you physically, emotionally, mentally. So I knew it was time. There you go, James.
16 episodes.
And he wasn't in them all, was he?
15 episodes.
14 episodes, 30. Should we knock them down? I mean, he wasn't in them all, let's be honest.
No.
Millie Gibson. Go on, James.
It's just, it's quite distressing how these people can just, as you were saying just now, just literally stand up and blatantly tell lies. How are you supposed to rebuild a damaged franchise when that's happening? It was already damaged before he took over.
Well, the truth is, we're going to get to it, James, aren't we? Because the truth is, this isn't the truth, and he doesn't want to say the truth because he wouldn't really. Just like we said, Disney are just saying blather, and the BBC are saying blather to each other, even though we know they've split up over Doctor Who. It's just the way they work in the media, and he obviously wants lots more jobs. And of course, he's done 2 filming blocks with Doctor Who, and blink and you miss it, and he can get on with the rest of his career after this. It was toxic. It went wrong. The feedback was terrible. Why did Disney leave? Disney left because all their feedback was saying it's a disaster. Obviously, I corrected myself last night after talking to the source, but they watched Space Babies and they were out. And all their feedback was just saying every demographic is failing on this. Now, if they're getting that data, you know for a fact the Ncuti'S team are getting the same data. And they're seeing the hostile reception from all of fandom and different people. You don't want to be part of that. So my understanding is, Sonny, that he actually hit the quit clause. He had to buy himself out of it, and he got out of it early. Simple as that.
Uh, yeah, that's probably is what happened, and it's because those things he said was true. I'll give him that. 2 out of 3 of those was true. It wasn't really physically take a lot out of him because we explained that, right? He's a ballet dancer. It was emotionally and mentally straining on Gatwa. He couldn't handle the pressure and the role of the job. We all said, I'm saying he was miscast, right? That's why he had to cry every episode to add some sort of dramatic weight into it. So that's gonna emotionally drain him, right? Because now he thinks like that's not a well he can really dig into anymore. And mentally, the doctor got to learn a lot of lines, and we know Gatwa can barely read. So mentally, yeah, it's gonna tax him.
So we've got Eastern Burkholder here. I mean, modern liars do not care if you believe it, just not supposed to contradict or laugh at them in public. It's a spin, isn't it? It's a spin that's been set here, James. It is a strenuous role. I mean, I'm not dismissing that, but I do think it's partly strenuous because our new showrunners have changed what the Doctor has to do and have made him more into a kind of American superhero when really the old-fashioned Doctor would sit there twiddling with his sonic screwdriver and making a new little kind of invention in a science lab and getting on with that. And then talking to Joe Grant over wine and cheese. How was that strenuous?
Yeah.
In the role that the doctor is stressed, but like, yeah, you're just acting. But Gawa didn't have to do any of that. He wasn't even building stuff. The most crazy thing he did was shoot the confetti cannon, I think. And I guess hanging off of that.
Well,
that
I am
ladder.
being. This is where I'm just trying to be fair to everybody. If you look at, and this is part of it's their fault. It's RTD's fault. It's Ncuti'S fault in what they wanted to depict in the 15th Doctor. I didn't think he was supposed to be a nightclubbing Doctor. You know, like the other Doctors didn't go nightclubbing, so that's too strenuous. He could have just sat down and had a wine and cheese with Joe Grant. He does a lot of running. And of course, because of the big budget, the distances are bigger. So there's a bit of running. He has to do all the superhero hanging from ladders and jumping from rooftops. Please tell me, apart from some exceptions like Seeds of Doom, where Tom Baker jumps through the skylight, come on, come on. Normally, Troughton would walk into a room. What's going on here? Twiddle a few knobs on the computer. Honestly, think of the whole Daleks 7 episodes. William Hartnell in the city, out the city, in the city, up and down. I mean, stop it. Come on, everybody. It's strenuous because you've made it different.
Yeah, no, the bigger budget with the live locations, that's a good point. He had to do literally more running. I feel like Tom Baker did some more action.
Yeah.
More so in his final story, I guess. And then I would think Colin Baker, I guess, ran around a little bit more. But I think they also filmed on location during those days too, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of the same thing with that. Other than that, I still don't see a bunch of scenes though that would really make me tired, except for like the unnecessary clubbing, the dance numbers.
Do you know what, James? It would have been so much easier. Do you know what they missed out on? If it's too strenuous, get him Bessie. Get him the Hoomobile. Get him something to sit in. Easy.
Yeah, Bessie, that would be cool.
Well, yeah. The gel guards are after us. Get in Bessie. And then he doesn't have to do running.
Yeah.
Easy. Honestly, do these people not write scripts?
I don't think they do.
They made callbacks to Classic Who anyway.
Yeah, we'd all love it. Oh, there's Bessie. There's Ncuti'S getting in Bessie. Anyway, it wasn't that strenuous all the time because he did jump on Melanie Bush's scooter.
Yeah, at the end there. Wasn't there a whole episode where he stood still on a landmine? His foot was on a landmine.
Oh, you're being so unfair. You mean he had to... Yeah. I mean, because he's getting jealous because obviously in Christmas Invasion for a whole episode, David Tennant just nodded off. So, you know, I mean, he's really jealous that there's stories where the others have just done nothing. But Ncuti'S, you've got to remember, It was,
They got to lie
oh,
down.
it was very strenuous for Shooty because there were some episodes where Millie Gibson was the star and he wasn't in it, and had to really think of how fast he had to run when them
Yeah,
slugs were after him in Dot and Bubble. God,
the
yeah,
slugs.
you could have dropped off, had a 5 minute granddad nap, and it still wouldn't have caught up with you. I mean, they were that lousy, honestly.
Taking care of all the babies and space babies. That's mentally
But you're
draining,
being
man.
unfair. Look, here's more evidence. How to dance with a tea trolley. This is stuff that John Pertwee didn't have to do. William Hartnell never had to do this.
No.
Peter Davison didn't. He just had to refresh his celery. Nah.
Every doctor has their stunts, but when your stunt is dancing on a tea trolley,
Hey, it's
that's
hard
sad.
to do. They've got dodgy wheels.
It's hard to do.
They have.
You don't-
They have.
Yeah, and you can't smash the crockery. But no, actually, I'll go back to that shot. You can smash the crockery if you were in Wish World, where every time you had a hope, yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Mm.
I was
That's
very
a bunch.
meta there. And this one, I mean, look at that. He's an all-action hero. Sorry, Stephen Moffat, he didn't have to be. Sit him in the carriage, twiddling with his screwdriver, working out the next scene. You don't need that. That is looking like you're pretending he's Indiana Jones. Doctor Who is not Indiana Jones. You've made him Indiana Jones. I don't like it. You wrecked the franchise, and you also knackered your main actor. Very clever. Very clever.
The
Round of
trifecta.
applause.
Yeah, exactly. It's their fault that the actors, the new Who actors, are always knackered.
Are tired.
So speaking
Yeah.
in a behind the scenes video on YouTube, oh yes, everybody's on YouTube nowadays, so passe. About his exit, he said it was always the plan to do this amount of seasons. Oh, ho, ho, lie, a lie. Because it's a role that demands a lot of
Straight
you
up.
physically, emotionally, mentally. Actors playing the Doctor are only actors playing the Doctor. Unfortunately, we are mere mortals. I would love to have the energy and the youth to be able to do this full time for the rest of my life, but my knees are telling me it's time.
Not the
Then
knees.
I mean, didn't they edit out that bit where he said that season 3 had been confirmed and they were about to start filming it? Isn't this like literally a barefaced lie?
And added to what you've just said there, James, if you go back to the Imagine documentary, RTD's plans took us through to season 3, where Susan, remember, the plan was that Susan would see the Doctor at that disco, but they wouldn't speak. He didn't see her. She was like watching him. And then season 3 is the big reunion. The whole thing was a setup for at least 3 seasons. He hit the quit clause. That's why, as you know, RTD had to change the last 20 minutes of the Reality War. And that's why it was such a bore fest as well, because they just stood around saying, "Where's Poppy? Have you changed a nappy?" And that was it. Whereas there was another version where season 3 with Daleks, with the Master, he meets Susan. Sorry, lies again, Sonny.
They're terrible lies too, because he even said he had vision and scripts up until like season
Yeah.
5 or 6, right? So it's just anybody who's listening to what you're saying knows you're lying. Even the people who shill for Doctor Who and will say every episode of the new era was good, they know when you're lying.
Yeah, so we know that. So it's clearly a stunt. Poor Billie Piper. She's not going to risk her knees, is she? So she, it's obviously a stunt. She's going, no, I'm not risking my knees for this stupid job. Rob Fellows used regeneration energy on the knees. Oh, funny was like Adric. I, I've healed already. Oh, he's all right. Oh God, he was a one, wasn't he? He's just the type you don't like. So, it's all about the knees, lads. I want to show you something. It's all about the knees,
Go ahead.
right? All about the
Yeah.
knees. All
Yeah,
about
go
the
ahead. Hang on
knees.
that
Yeah. Well, come on. We all know that song and dance routine was so unnecessary. And Shirley Ballas had them all twisting their knees. Oh, it's not gone right. Look at the knees. If he's if it
Oh my
if
gosh,
it was
yeah.
knees, how come for the whole of season 2 he's kneeling on the floor with his vindicator? Honestly,
Bro, he did the same position too, the same posture. It's just so
that's why he
gross.
doesn't like the knees. His knees are knackered. Going, oh, not the
Yeah.
vindicator again.
Not the vindicator. They keep asking me to bend over and dance and twist. What the?
Yep, it's. I mean, James, I'm giving you nightmares looking at this. You know, you're looking at our lead actor crouching all the time as if he's at Glastonbury and he can't find a loo, and and he's twiddling with his vindicator. Please, misses.
Well,
I know. So knees, but the thing is.
That
Knees. Why is he always having to crouch then if his knees is a problem? I'm just showing you the lie. And then, of course, it's funny how his boyfriend could get on his knees. I mean, maybe that was in the script. Maybe the doctor got on his knees to propose to Rogue, and they said, "Oh no, my knees are gone," and they had to switch it. I'm really onto this.
yeah,
I'm like Inspector Clouseau.
that's some
you
tinfoil.
should get some of those pads like gardeners have.
Yes. Funny how Millie Gibson's all right getting on her knees. Look at that poor soul.
Oh,
She
yeah.
hasn't moaned about it, has she?
That's concrete.
Yeah.
Stockings and concrete.
Exactly.
Ouch.
But as you said, Sonny, he could just stand still.
Apparently, it was a great episode according to Lutz. I refuse to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. The knees had it. So shall we discuss the real reasons? I've mentioned the toxic bit, but there's a lot more to say as well. So lads, obviously you know that I do have. Oh, he's a really good friend actually. He's a lovely bloke. But yes, I do have my source. So let's have the horse whisperer, the source whisperer. So rude. But yes, and it's my lovely source whisperer information all about the great Ncuti'S. Ncuti'S who? You know the one, this one.
Give me the loving.
Now give me love.
Access denied.
There you go. So it seemed relevant. So I think it's yeah. I think if you, I tell you how much farting went on when he crouched with that vindicator every time. So we're looking at the real reasons he left.
The rehearsals.
So here we go. The Ncuti'S exit. So my source was saying Ncuti'S wanted to do brand deals, but he was stopped by the BBC. As we know, you can't do that. He couldn't make money. He needed to get out to make money. He needed to be out. It was a toxic brand. He wasn't getting great feedback about it. He knew that Disney was unhappy. It was an unhappy crew. There are rumours about, and I can't authenticate it, but you know, we've all heard the rumours that basically maybe Millie Gibson and him didn't hit it off. My understanding is it's either one version, which is Millie Gibson had been doing all the hard work for 1 or 2 episodes before he even joined. She was on her own. She was leading Doctor Who on her own. And then he eventually joins and takes over and does that amazing scene in Dot and Bubble. Now, whether it's they just didn't know each other's rhythms and he came and took over, or whether they didn't get on, which is other rumours, there's that. It's a toxic programme. It's tanking. RTD seems to have lost his magic kind of formula. And on top of that, Ncuti'S thought this was this great moment. I'm going to be Doctor Who. I'm going to make it big. I can do all these deals with Gucci and everybody. And the BBC says, no, you can't. So basically, the longer you stay in Doctor Who, the more you're not making the big money. And the money he was being offered by all these brand deals, because he's a physically good, lad, he could have made an absolute fortune, and Doctor Who relatively wasn't paying much. Sonny, that's the truth.
That confirms rumors that I've heard over the internet while I went sailing over the internet. I heard that there was a perfume commercial, I think it was, that he could have done that would have paid more than his entire tenure of Doctor Who. So, and it was like maybe 30 seconds or something like that. So that does confirm that. It's a logical reason to stop being the Doctor, but I feel like most actors who pick up this role pick it up knowing this is going to be their full-time gig and the money's secondary. So to say he needed out implies that he didn't have the money prior to Doctor Who. Like he wasn't where he was, where he thought he needed to be or where he wanted to be prior to Doctor Who. And it's not really a role to like boost you up like that, because it's a role that serves the people, right? It's the
trouble is, Sonny, and it has changed, hasn't it, James? When you look at more at the classic Doctors, yeah, Peter Davison will didn't want to be typecast and all the rest. There's that. But they didn't think, oh, I'm going to LA and Hollywood next. None of the classic Doctors were really thinking in that way, because Doctor Who was a different type of show then. The snag has been the success of New Who. And as soon as New Who seemed to grab different audiences and then the money people arrived, I think, and with Matt Smith's success in Hollywood, Capaldi's success in Hollywood, all of a sudden you're thinking, I get this role and I make a fortune.
Yeah, but the thing is, they just did such a good job. I mean, like, Capaldi always wanted to be the Doctor. And Matt Smith really wanted to apply himself as an actor. And, they were both like working because they wanted to be there, because they wanted to do the best job they possibly could. And that's why the show got so big, because it was so good. And now we've got him coming along and using it. I think he essentially was trying to use Doctor Who as a stepping stone. And then he found out he can't. Mm-hmm. It was more of a lily pad and it sank. Mm-hmm.
That's exactly the issue, Sonny, isn't it? Go on, Sonny. I mean, that is the problem for him, which is, oh my God. I mean, he seemed to be getting roles in the West End and stuff. The point was he couldn't maximize himself. He's 10 months, and I think it was more than that because they were doing 2 seasons in one, weren't they? So he was stuck in Cardiff, and he couldn't maximize the value of his celebrity. With goodie and perfume and all those, and clothes. He's a clothes horse after all, let's be honest. He just couldn't do it.
Because he's a different type of actor, and he approached the role in a different type of way, and he got burned for it. He's a commercial actor, so a guy who looks good that you can blast on the screen for 30 seconds, and then he's on to the next product, right? Or singing and dancing in musicals or whatever. Like, everybody else's approach to Doctor Who was, oh, I'm a fan of the show. It's a complex role, right? I'm trying to better myself as an actor type stuff. Every other Doctor before that had acting chops coming. This really did seem like a baby's first time out, but he looks cute, so let's make him a star. Like, you can't force these things.
Yeah, we as Terrified Monk says, well, didn't Davidson have a big career already? I could see why he wouldn't want to get typecast. And if you think of Ncuti'S had done well in Sex Education as, I think, the 4th lead, and it was Eric. And then you've got he was in one movie had a part in Barbie. He was just starting to do it. But the trouble is, and I remember doing a stream last year when I said he's played an alien, a gay alien. He's played a gay man in West End. He's played in a very camp movie, and he's played a gay character, a gay teenager in Sex Education. That's typecasting, You know what I mean? If you're worried about typecasting, you know, he's done it to himself.
Like, he only does the same thing.
Exactly, or maybe he can only do the same thing. So that's the real reason, as many people have kind of whispered. Because of course, how can we prove that? The next thing is excuses again. Shooty explains his Eurovision absence. Now remember, he was supposed to be on the big night. We had paid a bomb for all the effects on the Interstellar Song Contest, and RTD will have lined it up and said, right, we've got our lead, and he'll be the UK jury, and he'll give the spokesperson votes, and so it's kind of a double whammy. Doctor Who, it's all PR, and of course, it didn't happen, and we all started saying, well, is that anything to do with Israel? Is that anything to do with anything else by any chance? He does go on marches to do with Palestine. I've seen the photographs. But this is what he said to Laura Kunsberg. So Laura added, there was some speculation that because there was controversy about Israel being a part of the competition, and there was speculation that's why you had decided not to take part, because you have been one of the many people who's expressed a lot of support for the Palestinians. Was that part of your reasoning? Shooty replied. And of course, it's a bit like this. Shooty replied, what does the script say? Hold on. And then he started crying. No, sorry, no. Then he said, he said, no. So good, it's important that he says no there. No, I was just very busy. He was then asked if he had watched Eurovision this year following his departure from his role as spokesperson. He told Laura, I didn't know. Shooty concluded his answer by saying, I was busy. So basically, that's nice and specific. Why don't you say, just say what your reason is. If you were busy, you'd say, sorry, I had a commitment. I was finishing off filming with Emmerdale. That's what Louise Jameson says if she misses a convention. Sorry, I was committed to the convention, but they had reshoots at Emmerdale, so I had to go back. And everyone goes, yeah, I understand that. I've been to a convention when Peter Davison is booked, and Busy Bee Peter will sometimes not be there because suddenly he's got another commitment. We all understand that. So why can't Shooty and Shooty's team just say, actually, he was busy. He was doing the rehearsals for the West End role. So sorry, Why could they not tell us the truth? Because the truth is what Laura Kunsberg was basically saying there, really.
Yeah, probably. I knew whatever he was going to say was going to be his downfall, because the only thing he could reply to this was nothing. He should have pled silence. But saying you're busy, what job can you say I'm not going to show up to because I'm busy? You're getting paid for this, man. And it's not like you're acting or you have to be in rehearsal all day or whatever. It's a gig that's maybe 30 minutes.
Well, Sonny, it's even worse than that. I mean, if he was doing something for the West End, or if he had another filming commitment, he could have filmed just in front of a camera, and he reads a card, really, and he says, hello, this is London calling, this is the UK jury, 12 points to Israel, 10 points to Southern. That's all he has to do. And so he could have been anywhere. Yeah, he could have had another job in TV or film and still done it. It's as simple as that.
He could have just done it over the internet like we're doing now.
Green screen, doctor.
He could have done it from his hotel room with a green screen.
Exactly, right. James. Exactly. There's just no reason. Eastern Burkholder, y'all were with us. It doesn't hold water, this at all. He let everyone down because he didn't want to announce Israel with the 12 points. His nonsense about having a dodgy stomach was a blatant lie. You see, if he's got a good PR team, and he has to, because he has a full team there. They knew it was bad PR to be in Doctor Who. That's why he got out early. So why did they not just put out a statement? A statement saying, sorry, he's just got 2 commitments. As I said, Davison, Louise Jameson, they all do it. We understand. But maybe they can't say it. Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah. As Neil says, Every actor has been an ambassador for the show. They know they are heroes to kids. Ncuti didn't do this. Yeah, Mad Mackham, to be a good liar and to be a good actor, you need to have a good memory. I'm afraid he doesn't, and and then it all falls apart. So it doesn't help, does it? So I'll give you a bit more of what he said. Before the conclusion, he went on to clear the air about his decision to step away from the UK's spokesperson at the Eurovision Song Contest. It all panned out very interestingly. I pulled out of it a long time before it was announced, and it was announced when it was announced. Oh, that's good, isn't it? I don't know why, but I was just very busy. Now, right, so just get this. Sonny, why weren't you on my last stream yesterday? Because I was busy doing what? I need to know. Where were you? I can't remember what, but
I don't know.
yeah,
I forget, but I was definitely busy. My eyes were closed, and I might have been snoring, but I was 100% busy.
This is what I mean. It sounds so vague. I mean, he said busy 3 times. I was busy. I was really busy. I was very busy. Do you know?
Is that not buzzword? Is that not good enough for you?
Do you know what? I was so busy, James, that I'm mentally finding it strenuous, and I'm physically drained, and I'm emotionally drained. I was so busy.
And it was announced when it was announced. That's really giving me Kamala Harris vibes.
Yes, it was, isn't it? It certainly is. Yeah. I mean, that kind of wrapping yourself in word salad, isn't it?
Mm.
Yes, you can always tell a liar when they do that. So yes, it's a great quote, this, isn't it, everyone? It's all panned out interestingly. I pulled out a long time before it was announced, and it was announced when it was announced, and I don't know why, but I was busy. I mean, somebody's just said, hold on, somebody's just said I was busy. I was busy. I don't know why, but it just says I was busy. I mean,
my PR team forgot to write out the rest of the reason. Like, the rest of the script here.
Has he got dementia? I mean, can he not remember last month? Dear God. I mean, he says he's 32 and he's getting old and tired. I mean, he wants to feel like the rest of us. I can't remember. Dear me. So,
that's good drugs, Brendan. Good drugs.
So I'll give you a bit more help here. That T-shirt he's got on, that says Ballet Black, okay? As he's saying he's tired. He continued by telling Laura, I just had a lot of work scheduled. He explained during the interview yesterday, a lot of press around my upcoming film, The Roses, around Doctor Who, around. Yeah, there was just a lot of press.
What?
Right? So
what film? I've never heard this film in my life. What?
There is a film he's in. No, there is a film he's in, but yeah. But so there you go, folks. And so Brendan will be really helpful thanks to Doctor Who production team. Look at this. He was announced as participating in the Eurovision on May the 2nd. It was announced he wouldn't on May the 15th. The final was on the 17th. So let me just say what he said again. Okay. And let's just see. He said, it all panned out. I pulled out of it a long time before it was announced. And I was announced when it was announced, blah, blah, blah. And when you go to this, it then says basically, it was announced he was doing it on May the 2nd. And then suddenly, 13 days later, he's not doing it. Right. Okay.
I had to do the math on my hands. He said he pulled out a long time, 48 hours. That's huge, guys. You can find a new top tier actor to do this event by then, right?
Yeah.
Well, for a show like you can, because you know, if somebody wants to do that show, they will make it happen. Like if somebody's hungry, they've got the products and they want to be there, they want to be on stage. And like the same thing happened when the Stone Roses pulled out of Glastonbury in 1995, and they just gave Pulp a ring, and Pulp came on and completely blew everyone away, and it launched their career. out of nowhere. They weren't even on the festival. Yet, like a big gig like that, there is somebody waiting saying, please call me, please call me, please call me. So yeah, they can, but that doesn't mean that he's not acting like a
That still
complete and
results.
total git.
Yeah,
Well,
that still results in like clickbait though, because
Oh yeah.
we've had over a week, 2 weeks it looks like, of them saying it's gonna be him. It was tied into the episode. It made a lot of sense. They was planning something really cool, but he doesn't care about that.
do we really believe that if you're part of a big movie, that the movie director or marketing team who needed him, as he said, to do a bit of press about it, what he means is some interviews and some photo shoots, maybe when they, they do the circuit, don't they? They get interviewed by everybody for 2 minutes.
Right.
Is he saying that he was just pulled from one commitment to do another one when he was still Doctor Who? Now, he's the front man for Doctor Who. This was episode 6 of the season. And he's saying,
Yeah.
I need to put this film interview first. And he wasn't the main star in it, but he was the main star of Doctor Who. And it was a Eurovision episode, for God's sake. So everything was attuned to it. And he suddenly says, I can't read out some results. I need to go and do some pathetically weak and lame and vacuous interview for 2 minutes about some movie nobody knows I'm in. Really? And that's
I want to see where it is. It was so good. No one's seen the interview or press release or whatever it is he was doing during the Eurovision.
Sonny. The thing you've forgotten is he was really busy. He's very busy. Very busy. Hold on, let me just check. I was very busy. Just checking my diary again.
I mean, it goes back to what we already said. He could just as easily have done it via a satellite link, via a broadband link from his trailer. It was
Not if he was that
he didn't want to do it. That's the bottom line. He decided he didn't want to do it.
And there's one little thing we all know that might have made it problematic for his team that got him out of Doctor Who because it was too toxic. And now they're going, oh my God, Israel got to the final. Now remember, can I just say something else, everybody? On May the 15th, so May the 17th is a Saturday, May the 15th is a Thursday. What happened on Thursday? Israel got the qualification to the final of the Eurovision. And suddenly, as soon as Israel got to the final, he got this thing put in front of him going, you've got an interview with the Roses, with TV AM or Good Morning Britain, and you've got to talk about your role in it. Oh, all right, okay. The results of the UK jury are no longer in my hands. I've got to go. Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened.
The timing is too convenient, and he ignored it during the interview. She asked him about it, and he just totally ignored the Israel comment.
Yeah, he doesn't know why. I mean, I just was right. So we know the dates. I've just shown you them again. I pulled out a long time before it was announced, and it was announced when it was announced. I mean,
every time you say it, it breaks my brain. I'm like, why are you speaking like that?
I wasn't there. All right, let me stop asking me questions. I just wasn't there. Has it got anything?
But
Yeah. Has it got anything to do with Israel being in it? Is that anything to do with Israel being in it and you're a Palestinian supporter? No. Hold on. No. No.
We're trying to talk to him like a human being, and he's like, well, it was announced when it was announced. It is what it is. It ain't what it ain't.
You know what would have been really good? I'm just going to put it out there. It would have been really good to give an actor, RTD said he's a top actor in the next few years, a top actor, a script, and he gets into role. And then when he goes on Laura Kunsberg, he goes, Actually, my grandma was quite, yeah, and I'm sorry, and no, no, it was very personal, very personal, very personal. Quite upsetting actually. I can't talk too much at the moment because hold on, because I need to cry. I- and then,
Before I cry,
he could have
or
come
at
up
least
with
wheel them. Yeah, wheel
instead.
them a portable what's it called, teleprompter. At least
Yeah,
wheel them a portable teleprompter everywhere or something.
instead, we got our top actor. I'm speaking like RTD. We're so lucky to get him. We're so lucky to get him. Other people were snapping him up, but we got him for Doctor, and he's going to be big. He's going to be big. That was RTD, wasn't it? And then, of course, this top actor goes, "No, I was busy. It was announced when it was announced." Um, any more difficult
Yeah.
questions?
Oh,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
I think we've been our own jury tonight. We don't need the official UK jury. I think we've sentenced him to being a very bad liar. So basically, I think we'll have a tiny break there for a moment to remind you of the shonky chats, but we're going to come back for us in a second, and we're going to really give you all nightmares before we get on to talking about the actors, how they've all left Doctor Who and their reasons. We'll have a quick, brief moment talking about the great Gatwa era. Remember that, everybody? But in the meantime, the Who pets are scared.
I'm dead scared, and I'm dead.
Which of you is not pulling their weight? I will sack you! I want more shonky chats. I want more money. Power!
Not the hairdryer treatment. I haven't got enough hair.
One of you will be off the channel tonight. One of you!
Hell's teeth, not even my wife is this scary.
Yes, if we don't get shonky chats, I kill them. You don't believe me? Here's an example. I do kill them.
Exterminate! Exterminate!
Yeah, I do kill them. Yeah, sorry, you're responsible in the thread. If you don't help out, they die. I'm in that sort of mood. I tell you what, can you imagine me show running him? I'd soon sort him out. Right, okay, let's get on to the... This is going to take hours, everybody. Settle in. This is going to be such a long thread now, and a really long stream. Get your sleeping bags out. We're gonna we're not gonna do episode by episode. I'm just going to ask for a few things. The Guardian that's on the left. So I've been fair here. Give a few words on this era. Oh, by the way, first of all, last thing about the Laura Kunsberg. She said to him, could he return? And he said, never say never. And I'm thinking, oh, blummin' hell. Well, we'll announce Ncuti'S return when it's announced. Not until that announcement will we tell the announcement that he's about. Anyway, means nothing. So here we go. This is what the great left Guardian says about Doctor Who. It was fun, flirty, and far too brief. Why did Ncuti'S Gatwa leave Doctor Who so soon? We've told you. Young, beautiful, and queer. The first black man to hold the sonic screwdriver made waves before his shock regeneration. But his time in the Whoniverse was the shortest in 20 years. Are you happy with that description?
That they haven't watched the show. He doesn't have a sonic screwdriver. A, he just got done telling us he's old. B, and of course we have to throw in buzzwords like queer. C, this was terrible. That's the worst thing I've heard all day.
So there you go, fun, flirty, and brief, and we wanted him for longer. But this bit, I'll ask you about this, James. I'll just put it up. The first black man to lead the show, his era of Doctor Who sensitively explored him visiting periods of Earth history where his skin colour would have an impact, such as the south of the US in the segregation era in Lux, where he was not welcome, and Lagos in Nigeria, in Story in the Engine, where he said he very much was. You know, I said that's a lie. The show was also uncompromising about this doctor being queer. I think I'd put the word gay myself. Almost instantly falling for Jonathan Groff's character, slag. In a way that the unrequited love of Mandeep Gill's Yaz for Jodie, Yaz, my fam, only awkwardly tiptoed around. But perhaps the thing that most characterized Gatwa's doctor was his open displays of emotion. Oh, no shit. Showing on screen that he was not afraid to cry. However, the device was probably James, overused.
Probably.
Overused. It shouldn't have been there in the first place. And, you know, cry. Not afraid to cry. More like afraid not to cry.
Do you know what, James? I think we're onto something here, and the Guardian's onto it. Do you know the real reason why he left Doctor Who?
His face was getting too wet.
It wasn't his knees. It wasn't his knees. It was his tear ducts. Yeah, he dried up. That's the reason he left. It was damaging him. See, we're onto it.
Yeah, I think we've got him. But yeah, I mean, this kind of thing it's so overplayed. Like not just in Doctor Who, not just in TV, but across the entire entertainment industry. And this is like a symptom of its like kind of dying thrashings, that they double down and double down and double down and double down when they know they've already lost and everybody's had enough, and we just want fun. You know, we don't want messaging. We don't want being told what to think or how to think. We want some fun.
Well, although I'd push back that on James in a way, I don't want fun. I want escapism, but I don't want the fun that RTD's version of fun, because as you know,
no.
Yeah, I mean,
I completely agree. I must have phrased that wrongly.
Yeah, because the way RTD's version of fun is like, oh dear, we're back on Canal Street. So, Sonny, it is an important one, this, because, well, look, it's a very worthy statement it's making there about how important Doctor Who has been.
It did a very good job at turning the I don't even know if it's the average person's criticism, but a good majority of the quote unquote noise that they classify it, they spun it to a very a palatable way where you might even be curious to like watch the episode almost, but they didn't watch the episode. He said in Lux he was not welcomed. Not really. He showed up in the middle of the night, so nobody noticed him. And then that lady definitely welcomed him in to help save her son. So, Story in the Engine, it was propaganda, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I can't say that too much, can I? I've done enough streams on it, but I'll just say it extremely quickly. I did it again on the Woke Show on Saturday. I'm sorry, but that is one of the worst lies you can tell about Nigeria. That is a disgrace. I'm sorry, but if you're going to say that Doctor Who in any shape or form is educational about race, I'm sorry, you cannot say that Nigeria is some sort of utopian Disneyland for gay black people. Get over yourself, RTD. How very dare you? I'm being meta again. And you're so right, Sonny. In Lux, the doctor said, well, this is an awkward time for segregation, but I'm going to kind of rise above it, didn't he? He just said, you know, he wasn't troubled by it.
No.
I mean,
if anything, it was glossed over in a great way.
Exactly, and that you know, you're onto that, Sonny. The glossing over when RTD thinks there was a message in that script, and you're going, where? It was flippant. Duncan the Funky Evans, I wonder if he could cry on command or needed to sniff a bowl of red onions before take. Duncan, no, you've not thought of another option. He read the script and went, oh my God, this is crap, and he cried. That's when he cried.
I actually thought you were going to say, I'm emotionally invested in RTD's work. No, this is so bad.
He wanted to sack his agent because he's going, Look at this Doctor Who script. It's terrible. Oh no, use them tears. Use it. Okay.
I have to say what? I have to lay in bed with Belinda. What?
Yeah, this is traumatizing me. She's such a bad actress, and I don't know what to do. And then
She's mean.
I still can't use the phrase. I'm infertile. I'm infertile. I mean, who goes around saying this? I'm infertile when the infertility people tell me I'm infertile, and when it's announced. Until then, it's not announced that I am infertile. Honestly.
Yeah, it's more infantile.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So just in case everybody missed it, because obviously Ncuti'S was the Doctor during a blink. He discovered racial segregation, and he discovered racial harmony and LGBT harmony in Nigeria.
Great.
And
Okay.
he also slept with Rogue in an episode that was only about 40 minutes long, but he wanted him straight away. I think he is called a slag. And they're saying that now embarrassed the 13th Doctor, who actually just kept it, controlled and didn't leap all over Yaz, which now I think, well done, love, well done. Whereas Ncuti'S Doctor, get your kegs off, get behind them bushes. I've got a bigger Sonic than you. Away. Honestly, that's basically what's going on there. Shocking.
It barely
Anyway,
fits in my pants.
Yes. Gatwa, yeah, I'm bigger on the inside. Sorry, no. Gatwa's era also seemed to be riding two slightly conflicted. Remember, this is the Guardian, everybody. Gatwa's era seemed to be riding two conflicting horses. This sounds as though we're going to get a massive criticism. RTD returned as showrunner with the nostalgia rush of, Tennant and Tate for 3 specials, and then he promised a softish reboot with the aim of picking up new audiences and starting afresh as season 1. But he also opted to bring back companions from the 60s and 80s and have the return of niche villains and enemies that necessitated flashbacks to episodes from the 70s, which didn't exactly seem or scream accessible. Ooh,
100%.
Sonny, that sounds like they're saying it was crap.
It sounds like they're acknowledging the ultimate criticism of the season, that even like people who like the episodes will say this point right here. They're like, well, you promised us a new season 1. It's supposed to be new monsters and stuff, but like he said, there's a bunch of niche villains spread all over the place that new people just wouldn't know. So it's a valid criticism that something, I don't know if Disney would have told them it particularly, but it was definitely something a higher up should have been able to catch, or they should have been able to fix after season 1, because people were saying that online, but it was all noise. So
Yeah, we've got a few interesting points here before I come to James. Hasler Scott, the idea that some dude made a bunch of killer robots to get her back is ridiculous. He made those robots to kill her if she ever found him. I mean, why is it in season 2 I was willing on the apparent baddies? I was willing on Conrad Clark. I was thinking, you stand there in that TARDIS. You let that... Because Ncuti'S Doctor had lost it. You know that out of those 2 men, the Conrad Clark, he held the ground. And I still think it was like the moment with Capaldi and the Master when he said, look at me, I have no the word you've said. So you've got Yammers here. I cleared up a lot of my own confusion when I realised I don't like Doctor Who. I like Sherlock Holmes in space as defined by Tom Baker in his first season. And I think you're onto something there. I think something when New Who was taken in the wrong direction. We now have Marvel heroes in eccentric clothing. We've got it backside first. You're more onto it there regarding Doctor Who is always... There's that Britishness about it. He's not an all-American hero in space. And they're desperately trying to get a global audience, but the global audience wants a different version. James, isn't it interesting? The Guardian thinks it was a bit of a mess.
Yeah, I mean, they're supposed to be they're supposed to be singing from the same hymn sheet, right? But no. And it's kind of interesting that they're not. Funny point about the Guardian, like as I think I've mentioned before, I work in a shop and we do sell newspapers. We stock one copy of the Guardian, and 9 out of 10 times it doesn't sell, which I find very, very amusing.
Oh, it sounds like Doctor Who. Sounds like Doctor Who magazine.
Indeed,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yes.
But yeah, it's very interesting that they're supposed to be like very much, very far on the same side of the political spectrum, and they can't agree with each other, which goes back to what I was saying before. It's like these thrashings of a dying movement, which is kind of encouraging.
It is, but I know what you're saying. It tells you how far RTD went off script, because if RTD of the left with his left messaging wasn't being applauded by the left-leaning newspaper, he's gone too far. He's just gone way too far. That's what's happened here. Guess what was that, Sonny?
The side that this quote is missing, which is why I don't think they're really saying it's crap, because they're applauding the gay stuff. It looks like they took it further than Jodie did, and I think they're trying to spin it as a good thing without saying it is. But the Doctor, it was character assassination since Tennant came back. His character is being like purely assassinated, and that's why you end up rooting for the villains. That's why you see these conflicting horses, and that's why the season's a mess. But I'm curious if they're going to pick up on the Doctor's character being assassinated. I don't think the Guardian's going to say that part. Like, the actual character is bad.
Oh, no, they think the characterization and the representation was amazing, but they're saying...
Exactly.
RTD's confusing because he was trying to do one thing and then do another, and then niche. I mean, saying that Sutek was a niche villain is fascinating. You know, whoa. Anyway, the thing I like
think
is
he's niche.
Yeah, well, and then bringing the Rani back. Fourth line down. He promised a softish reboot with the aim of picking up new audiences. I think he delivered there. You know, I'm going to be fair. He did do a soft reboot because the first episode had lots of full nappies, and it was a soft reboot. There you go. The soft landing for all those space babies. But yeah, you got a soft, stinky landing. That's what you got.
Yeah.
So there you go. So let's kind of free ourselves of this kind of Japanese knotweed of, oh God, here he is, and now he's gone again. The Doctor exits. Now, I'm not going to go through them all. It's just that I've got lads here. I don't know what they're going to say, so I've prepared for every single one. So, Sonny, you know, when you think of the Doctor's leaving and the reasons why, which ones come to mind as the ones that bothered you the most, or you thought, yeah, good for you?
I'll start with the good because I've had enough negativity for 2 minutes. Peter Capaldi's exit was very emotional for me because that was the end of his regenerations, like the proper set of regenerations. But also it connected back to Hartnell's regeneration, because not just because of the epilogue special, but because he regenerated fighting the Cybermen. And then Peter Capaldi's here regenerating. His companion got turned into the first Cyberman, and then he ended up regenerating. So like the Cybermen are very tied into his regenerations. I think there's another Doctor who regenerated near some Cybermen too, but I'm not 100%. I can't remember right now. But I liked his exit, and it was the Doctor being himself. Like, he's showing his age. He was still goofy, really smart, calculating, all that stuff. He acted alien, and he really didn't want to go. He didn't want to end his life. But that's definitely my favorite one.
Yeah, but the truth is, the actor was saying this. It's a great show and experience, but to be the center of that brand is a lot of work. There's a lot more than just acting. It was hard to maintain that level of commitment with that schedule any longer. I tried my best to make the Doctor come alive. I love this show, but I've never done anything where you turn up every day for 10 months. I want to always be giving it my best, and I don't think if I stayed on, I'd be able to do that. Now, I feel more for Peter Capaldi saying that because obviously, as a older actor, on top of your game, he just wants to make sure he doesn't drop the baton, and he maintains a standard. And I go back to this, James. If they didn't write New Who as an all action hero and everything's much more physical, it doesn't have to be. And then you could have had Capaldi for longer. Because if that's what he's saying, that it's tiring, it's consuming, and he'll have done Shakespeare, he'll have done everything, and yet he's saying this role is the one that knackered him. Which does sound like Shooty, except there's 20, 30 years difference. But James, I think it's the fault of New Who.
I think that perhaps Capaldi was a little more polite, a little more kind of not out for himself and trying to keep the reputation of the show alive. I still strongly suspect that he was kind of maybe not pushed, but nudged a little. I think he wanted to stay longer. Whereas Gatwa was actually looking for an exit.
I agree. One was a fan as well. One wasn't.
Indeed.
Paul Richards, I didn't want Capaldi to leave because he was more aloof than the classic Doctors. Once they'd settled him down, I couldn't stand the start. Shut Clara up. In fact, kill her. Kill her. I sometimes think, stop these companions from suffocating our good doctors. Doctor, are you a good man? Oh, shut up.
Yeah, and he did that perfectly with Clara. The whole, I'm his carer. Yeah, she cares, so I don't have to. And that was just boom. That's possibly my favorite line in the entire show ever.
Well, Dalek Lives Matter saying Capaldi's exit was spoilt by Murray Gold's music throughout that whole speech. And I've seen a few people mention various things. So yeah, it's a famous one. I mean, he wanted it to be fighting the Cybermen, the Mondasian Cybermen, and he mentioned Volga and all that. And in a way, they made him the all-action hero, but in a kind of doctorish way. Yeah, it was like a wand, I know. Every time he fired yeah. However, I loved the speech, there should have been stars and all that stuff. I liked his speech with the Master, which he ignored. All that stuff was great, and it was a great two-parter, really. James, your thoughts from William Hartnell all the way through to Jodie Whittaker. Hold back, you don't have to do Jodie, but resignations or quits or sackings, which one would you like to talk about?
Well, I suppose Christopher Eccleston, really, because that kind of led me into getting into the show in the first place, because I came along because I'd enjoyed Tennant's performance in something else, so I started watching towards the end of his run because I knew that Tennant was going to be in it, and I wanted to see what the hell everything was all about. And then I actually ended up liking Eccleston more than I liked Tennant.
Yeah, right. I get what you're saying. As long as he wasn't good, he didn't like the comedy bit. He wasn't good at that, but he was good at everything else.
Yeah, I mean, some of the episodes really, I could see why he wanted to leave. Like all that stuff with the android and all the Big Brother stuff. I found that really, really annoying. But
now,
again, he had like really classic ones. Sorry.
No, I'm going to come back.
He had really classic ones like The Empty Child that would just, I think, still stand up as some of the best episodes today.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to keep coming back to James here, by the way, everybody, but on the Chris Eccleston. But the point is, we're obviously going to ask you all next which Doctor's resignation or sacking or dismissal or finish do you want us to talk about? I've got them all lined up, but there's one or two us Doctor Who fans like to go over again. And actually, we've heard about the Shooty exit. We've quickly talked about Capaldi's, and we definitely got, I mean, there's a few more minutes on Eccleston yet because we know the rumours. And Gary Lee's done research on his Facebook page, has said stuff. And so I am going to spend a bit of time on this, but if everybody in the thread wants to tell us what they'd like us to talk about next regarding this, because we are all together. Stephen O'Neill, Peter Capaldi's regeneration was the best regeneration of the modern era. He's sadly missed. Oh, and we saw him at Glastonbury. He looks just the same. He could be back. Dalek Lives Matters. There's no greater image than Capaldi's doctor astride a chieftain tank playing an electric guitar. Yeah. I know what you mean. Very, very strong. So on this Chris Eccleston front, let's go into this because this is a tasty one. It's a good choice actually. Because the first thing, James, is, I mean, when you go back, the BBC naughtily said that Chris Eccleston left because he didn't want to be typecast. That was the official story. Then we started to hear the truth. The New York Comic Con in 2019. I left because my relationship with the showrunner and producer broke down. I left only because of those three individuals and the way they were running the show. I loved playing the character and I loved the world. And I felt I'm going to play the Doctor my way and I'm not going to get involved in these politics. And that wasn't workable, so off I went. And I'll just finish this bit. My relationship with my three immediate superiors, the showrunner, the producer, and co-producer, it broke down irreparably during the first block of filming, and it never recovered. They lost trust in me, and I lost faith and trust and belief in them. Now, you've heard stuff. I've heard stuff. What have you heard, James, about all this?
Well, I've heard that he said that he would only ever consider coming back if all three of them were fired.
Yeah.
That was quite recent. And yeah, I've heard him talk about how he's still a massive fan of Doctor Who, and yeah, he actually genuinely really would like to be Doctor Who, but he just can't because of these people. Which, seeing what they've done to the shows in recent years, I can completely see that. Maybe during the Moffat era and even the Gilmore era, that seemed a little bit far-fetched, but RTD2 has completely proven him right.
You see, what we've all heard versions, and Gary Lee has done a lot of work on this, so I'm only kind of shouting out what Gary Lee has said over about 28 kind of pages of joining the dots. But basically, in essence, if it's true, what he's saying is, Gary Lee, on his Facebook page, you can find it, he's talking about the fact that it seemed that Chris Eccleston was defending the kind of the backroom staff. And when it talks about his politics are two things. One is don't pick on the little person. And Chris Eccleston, very Mancunian, very strong, was, hey, there's an injustice here. Do you lot know what's going on with these lot? And he was calling it out. That was what Gary Lee was saying there. So that was the first thing. That sounds very Chris Eccleston. The second thing, you were talking about when he said sack them all and I'll come back. He also said in that speech then, he said, I couldn't stand the politics. And what he meant was he couldn't stand the politics of the BBC. A lot of the BBC people who hated Doctor Who weren't helping it, who didn't know why it was coming back, and they weren't helping. And as soon as it became a success, they all said they were there. And he said, I can't stand that type of politics. Well, it's two-faced. It's, these people have no substance. They have no integrity. Wait for my show about the BBC. That's just the surface. But that's what we're saying, isn't it, James? That basically Chris Eccleston, he's got heart.
Yeah, he stuck to his principles because he's a fucking grown-up. Sorry, excuse my language, because he's a bloody grown-up.
Well, yeah. Jason here, I think RTD, Ncuti'S fallout, hence the repeat of the tired line, but Ncuti'S is being cutie by quoting this line and reason at the same time he's doing ballet. Yes, you're right on that one, Jason. A little bit more sunny on the very complicated Chris Eccleston story, which we all want the book of it, don't we? We all want the book of it. In an interview, he said, what happened around Doctor Who almost destroyed my career. I gave them a hit show and I left with dignity, and then they put me on a blacklist. I was carrying my own insecurities as it was something I had never done before, and then I was abandoned, vilified in the tabloid press and blacklisted. I was told by my agent that at the time, the BBC regime is against you. You're going to have to get out of the country and wait for regime change. I tell you what, just you wait for my BBC show on their attitude to Doctor Who. And this man here, Sonny, is onto it. He sniffed it out and they didn't like it.
it goes back to classic Who. The BBC never, from my research, they never liked Doctor Who. They just, I don't know what's their deal with Doctor Who. They just can't let people enjoy what they like, right? And so he saw something evil happening behind the scenes, and he called it out, or he didn't stand with it, and they sacked him for it. So it's
I
kind of
think
crazy. And
I think Sonny, and I think we can all understand it. They were trying to relaunch Doctor Who, and there was a lot of pressure on them. I mean, RTD and everybody has said there was an awful lot of pressure, and I can get that. We all know what people do under pressure. Some are nice, and some lose it. And I can only guess that in that first block, when lots of things were going wrong, that there was a lot of kind of tightness and tempers and stuff like that. And I'm guessing 2 and 2, but Gary Lee, he has just said, "Don't you dare pick on the little people. Don't you dare. Stop it." I don't know if that means bullying, but you can see what's happened. And they've gone, "Hey, oh, he's got a bit too big for hey, 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 hey." And maybe he shot his mouth off a bit and just said, "You effing D." I don't know. You can imagine frayed
he was
tempers, and
probably
then
rude. Yeah,
the
he was
relationship.
probably rude, but he was standing up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's what he's acting like the Doctor.
Indeed.
If anything, right?
Yeah.
And this is what happened to the Doctor. They would kick him off world, like get him out of here, blacklist him.
Yeah. So we'll try and get more stuff on that one. But now I saw a few people. I remember I was asking if anybody wanted another Doctor exit to be discussed. I did see earlier McCoy was mentioned, and so was Tom Baker. So let me just go back to Tom Baker first, because I found this a sad one. Yes, we know the Logopolis, and
Yeah.
it was quite a dramatic ending, but the actual story was, this is what Tom Baker said. And we know he was getting quite big for his boots, but 7 years in the role
Yeah.
and all that jazz. But this is what he said, because obviously John Nathan Turner was the new boy and wanted to do it his way. His approach as a producer to the scripts and to my performance, he managed somehow to diminish me. He made assumptions about how I should do things, or what lines meant, or how it should be shot, which diminished me, and I found that unbearable. Ultimately, Tom Baker has since come to the conclusion that it was a good thing because the producer nudged me towards the realization that Doctor Who had run its course and I should go somewhere else. I think, in a way, when I said when I wanted to go, he was relieved that he wouldn't have to have that fight. That
Mm-hmm.
that the top paragraph is out of order. All I know from talking to media insiders is you hire a producer, you hire a director, you hire these people. You can't suddenly, just as the producer, just go in there and direct the top actor like that. You can't do that. You've got to give him integrity. You might want rid
I
of Tom Baker, but you can't do that.
agree, but I can see his ego getting out of control, and he's like, "Who is this guy to tell me I'm the Doctor? I've been doing it for years already. I know what to do. Like I have the acting style let down. Like he knows the Doctor better than anybody in that place, probably." And it's just he's a fan though, almost like a parasitic fan attached to the brand, which is like almost a symbiotic relationship. It helps, but at a time it had to end, right? And so I thought they ended up ripping him away from the role, kicking and screaming, but I'm glad it actually did come down to he did realize he had to go eventually.
The thing is, we've just had 2 seasons of Shooty, and nobody will say an unkind word in the media, and you can have your cover story Shooty. Now, he's had minimal impact, and the role has tanked Doctor Who and all the rest of it, but we all have to be very respectful. Meanwhile, the person who did it for the longest period and made it a success with the scarf and the eccentric way he was, and he was very alien. Tom Baker, people either say their favourite Doctor was New Who, David Tennant, or they say Tom Baker. They tend to be the two most popular.
Yeah.
And you disrespect him by making him realise that, could you do the line like this? Could you stand that way? Why don't you do this? You over direct him. You over kind of crowd him. Look, if you want rid of him, you need to be the man and say so. Go on, General Nathan Turner, say so. But I'm sorry, but I think we're talking about respecting Shooty, and I'm not sure if he really deserves it after what we saw. And Tom Baker is disrespected. I'm just not happy with that, James.
No, it's like what you would call in a, like, say, for want of a better term, normal job, micromanagement. You know, if you get someone who has to be in charge of every little thing, and they're telling someone who's been doing it for years, it doesn't matter what the industry is. You're telling someone who's been doing something for years and years, and it's like the most successful person at it that you've got in your company, and you keep trying to say, oh, but can you make it a bit more like that? Can you make it a bit more like this? And it's just going to really get their hackles up. It's going to make them want to, well, either blow up at you or just walk out the door.
Yeah, and I can see how people are feeling here. Like, you know, Tom hated his final scene too. Well, yeah, he died on AstroTurf. I mean, you know, under a plastic pylon. I mean, it wasn't really good, was it? Yeah, the story might. Yeah, I mean, the story was interesting, but it was very funereal. And just before we move on, I want to pick on a point from earlier where I'm trying to see who was saying it. I'm trying to get there fast regarding Eccleston could be rude. You know who you are. Yeah, I bet he could be rude or blunt. I find it's the media lovies, though. You have to say all these kind things to each other, but he's trying to defend the little people. You know, the stars in front of the camera. There seems to be such a disconnect to the backroom staff, and he was just thinking, I don't like that. And yes, that might be seen as rude. You know, you can imagine RTD having a problem with anybody saying the truth to him. Funny how RTD loves to say the truth about Trump, and he likes to say the truth about everybody else on the planet, but you can't say the truth to him. That's just sad, that, isn't it? It's really weird. Farsight. I'll look for your. Is it nearby his super chat, or have I lost it?
I don't think it is. I think it's actually a little older. And then I just don't remember if you popped it up or not. He was saying how Gatwa's run wasn't short enough.
Well, Farsight
it literally only just popped up on my screen. I don't know where it is.
Okay, then.
It came up a while ago, I think.
Okay, well, Farsight, you know me. Well, hopefully you know me. I don't do that deliberately if I missed it, but I will apologise and say if that's what you said, and thanks for that, Sonny. That it was not short enough. Millie Gibson tried her best, Farsight. She tried her best to make it shorter and do her bit, but I do have to thank you in the usual way. Thank you, Farsight, for that. Here's some sense for your fans. Oh, he's big. Hey, watch it, son. I can box you. Watch it, watch it, watch it. Oh, God, he's scary, isn't he? Oh. Is that a Carvanista? Flux, do me a favour. Sorry, Farsight. It's a lively one, and thanks, Sonny, for pointing that out. So, yes, Tom Baker there. Colin Baker's getting mentioned, so I will just flash him up for a second. I've only got this slide here, but it's the famous one. He's really the only one who was properly dismissed. I know William Hartnell would have pushed like hell, but and yes, we know on the Blu-rays and in interviews he's talked about this and everything, and his first wife, Liza Goddard, also knew, as in romantically, Michael Grade. It was so complicated. But we all know the story that John Nathan Turner, the producer, gets a phone call from Michael Grade saying you need to get rid of your actor if you want the show to continue. You've got another season, but it needs to be with another actor. You have to hope that your boss, the boss who got you the job, the boss who decided you'd be a good Doctor Who, the boss who rubber stamped the twin dilemma when you strangled your companion, is then going to stick by you because you've trusted in him. Colin Baker didn't want that stupid outfit. John Nathan Turner wanted that stupid outfit. So Colin Baker was therefore limited in his impact by JNT. And I could go on. So you hope that the person who makes all these weird decisions to make you look a little bit too garish can stand up in front of his boss and say, well, I'm sorry, but if you're asking me to sack Colin Baker, then you're asking to sack me as well. I mean, come on. Not fair. And I'm backing Colin Baker there. That was so unfair.
Absolutely. Like in my time in management, you have to stand by your staff. You have to stand by your staff in front of the people who are above you. Otherwise, you're nobody, because then your staff won't respect you, and then you have no staff.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you're the boss, getting the big money. We always. I'm always quite strict about this. I remember I said to a head teacher once, and I was really low down, and I said to the head teacher, because they were asking me to do something I think a little bit unethical, actually. They wanted to call an emergency meeting together for me to say what they'd heard behind the scenes about a head of English and actually fire bullets at them, really, verbal bullets. And I said, hold on a minute. I said, how much money are you on? And she went, excuse me. And I said, no, how much money are you on? And she said, what's relevant about that? I said, it's highly relevant. I said, you are earning a lot more than me to go in those rooms and to make decisions. I'm not. In fact, you're asking me to slag off my boss who's on more money than me. Sorry, no. If you want me to do that, give me the big bucks. Mind you, I wouldn't have done that. That's a horrible way of treating somebody. But yeah, John Nathan Turner, I'm sorry. That was a letdown. You really let down Colin Baker there. Colin Baker's tried to sound kind about it, knowing, well, he was doing it for the sake of the show, but it shafted Colin Baker completely.
It was a rock and a hard place, and the sad reality in retrospect, if he did push back, Colin Baker probably would have got another season, because it wasn't his ratings that were dropping, right? It was from the prior era. Those ratings were dropping, and so all of this stuff, the costume, the new stories, like all of that was to revitalize the show. And from my research, it worked, and I love the Colin Baker era. So it did make me really sad. It makes me sadder that people relate this to the Gatwa era. They say it's the same thing. They put Gatwa in fancy costumes like Colin Baker, and the time slots are all at the wrong time. I'm like, but they missed all of the other stuff, like the character assassination, the waste of time of the plots, the lack of plots. Like, it's very ridiculous. But
I mean, I liked his first season. Yeah, I liked his first season. Attack of the Cyber. I'm a bit of I like the Eric Sayward going a bit darker. I'll be honest with you. Show me a bit of blood. Eastland Burkholder, I agree. Must never let our staff be disrespected. Stephen O'Neill, I put yours up. Unfortunately, Colin Baker's costume was the third worst of the show after Gatwa and Whittaker's. A lot of us fans say we've got 80s vibes, in just where Doctor Who is now. Now, you can mention ratings, you can mention it getting camp and silly, and you can mention costumes. So, Stephen O'Neill, I'm with you there, because there are so many parallels. It's concerning. And just like Ncuti'S in this modern day and age, they all save face. I can buy a kill clause. Colin Baker, bless him, was the kill clause done in another way. And it's horrible. And yes, a lot of you have met Colin Baker. I obviously looked after Colin Baker for a day in Blackpool 2 years ago, and we had lots of chats. Lovely bloke. Treated him like my dad. And just nice bloke. Nice, normal bloke. Told me bits and bobs in between all the autographs. Was very nice to people about autographs. Some people, they want 6 autographs of 6 different things, and each one would be 30 quid. Or it was like, if you had all the numbers, it would have just been silly. And he says, "Put your money away. This is on me." Now and again, he would do that. He did it with kids and everything. Very nice. Just nice man. Baker's costume stood out. Not my favorite, but it was really unique. I saw Far Sight.
Yeah.
I think it was you, Far Sight. I better have better sight, Far Sight, next time. But Far Sight, you said it was the blue one you liked better. The one I've got it on my little character options over there. Yeah. So, and I think, to be honest, when we talk about doctors leaving, I have to talk about William. You've all seen The Adventures in Time and Space, haven't you? God, that's such a sad drama, isn't it? It's beautiful, but it's so sad that he got the time rota working at the end for his final scene and regeneration, and he's tired, and it's just awful. And all the directors are coming and going, and they don't know how to work the TARDIS, but he does because he's the lead actor. All these lovely touches, and as soon as Carol Ann Ford leaves, and as soon as Verity Lambert leaves, he realizes the people who defend him are going. Oh God, we watched that fairly recently, and I think what a powerful, lovely drama. Get it on BBC One. I love it. What about you, Sonny?
I've never seen this. My regeneration story of him is the 10th Planet. I've seen the 10th Planet, but
Yeah.
that's
Well,
the Adventures in Time and Space, was that like a special type thing, a documentary?
It was a reconstruction drama. So basically, it was trying to show you the life of William Hartnell while he was, while he was picked to be Doctor Who, those early years, and then them trying to get rid of him, and then him going through his last scene. It's
Cool.
beautiful. So the 10th Planet is his final story on TV, but it's a kind of drama about William Hartnell playing Doctor Who. And it is, as Mark Gatiss wrote it, he said it's a love letter to Doctor Who. I don't know what the thread thinks, and I'll ask James, but the music, you get to see the Mondasian Cybermen, the Zarbi, you see little creatures from that era, and they've been done up, and we're now in colour, and it's just, I love it. What did you think, James?
I'm gonna watch that.
Well, I mean, I do know exactly what it is, but like Sonny, I've never actually watched it. I do kind of want to, but I think it's one of those things that, like, maybe if you get a DVD of your favorite band's final concert and you just can't bring yourself to watch it.
I know,
I've meant to watch it 100 times, but I just haven't been able to. It's just like, maybe that will just tip me over a little bit. Maybe I should leave that for another day.
Right. I'll ask the thread what you and Sonny should do regarding this, because you can hear my opinion. My opinion is, I understand it's sad, the demise of William Hartnell, but they show you his great speech in Dalek Invasion of Earth. They show you his moments when he was fighting the role, and he was coming up and he was on top of his game at the beginning, and Verity Lambert is played in it, and you see the fans falling in love with Doctor Who, playing in the playground, pretending to be Daleks. You see all that, and you see a moment when his granddaughter, he's a very old-fashioned style granddad, but suddenly she sees him as Doctor Who, and he starts to realise he's kind of popular, and I find it adorable, and it's beautiful. And if you're a Doctor Who fan, I personally think you'll really enjoy seeing the origins of the making of Doctor Who at the beginning. And yes, it's sad, the last bit, because it's a drama. What's everybody in the thread saying? So Karka says, watch it.
You got to watch it.
Yeah. Easton Burkholder, Verity and others were doing good work and underappreciated. Yeah. And you see Roris Hussein and Verity fighting the system. Oh, there's an amazing scene. I hope it's true. Where Verity Lambert keeps saying, have you designed the TARDIS yet? Have you designed it? And Doctor Who was kind of partly children's fund budget, drama budget. It was kind of in between the cracks. And so the program wasn't treated well. But she was good, and she kept saying, will you design the TARDIS for me? And they were like, we're busy, love. She's a woman. Busy, love. And she kept coming back, and then she said, right, I'm going to sit here till you do it. And then all of a sudden, he got some pieces of card and he did a kind of hexagonal or whatever you call it, and he stuck a thing on, and he said, "There you go," and it was the TARDIS inside. Oh God, it was fab. It was. I don't know. I love it. Can everyone tell? I love it.
Okay. You've convinced me, Brendan. I'm going to watch it.
You're right. It's like adversity breeds creativity, so it's cool to see that throughout the drama. Yeah.
Paddy, I think that's Northern Ireland. It's great TV. You should both watch it. So there you go.
I'll find it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't recommend something. I wouldn't want it to upset you or not. But I know what you're saying, James. Now, I think you'd overall think that's why I'm a fan. That's why I really love Doctor Who. You can see people being passionate about it, and it's lovely. It's the beginning of Doctor Who, and it's in colour. It's fab.
I think the color is what I'm excited about. To see some of the Hartnell stuff in color proper, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, the TARDIS in color, and they do it so well. Oh,
I loved like the creepiness of the. I mean, I haven't even got the Blu-rays. I've just got like the 2 Entertain DVDs, which it's all still in black and white, and it's just there's some kind of like 60s vibe to it, which goes along with like some of the music like I listen to as well. Like, I'm really into like really like early Pink Floyd, Syd Barrett era stuff. So like that era of Doctor Who makes so much like sense to me anyway, and I love the black and whiteness, and like I know how like they tear shreds of paper and like the shh sounds, and they did that on Piper at the Gates of Dawn as well. In fact, I think they nicked it from Doctor Who. The
James,
idea that is.
There's lovely bits in it that show you the mistakes, as in little moments when the TARDIS doors wouldn't open, and it's just I don't know. It's a love letter to Doctor Who, and as Duncan the Evans says, the Cyberman having a cigarette is funny to see. The Mondasian Cyberman having a
smoke break.
Okay, spoilers.
Yeah, and he blew up. He blew up. He blew up just like Capaldi did in this finish. So there's a cheerful note. Shooty Who. So everybody, please, we've tried to entertain you tonight. You can get us at thesensefree@gmail.com if you want to be a panelist, or you've got suggestions for a topic. Write to me on Gmail, or I'm on Twitter @SenseTheSphere, or we have our own Doctor Who fan debate Facebook group, and you'll find it there, the Sensefree Doctor Who fan debate Facebook. So please look us out, talk to us, and we're there. And please like and subscribe. Yeah, I mean, it would be great. And if you've already liked and subscribed and you do like our channel, I hope you do, please tell a friend. Let's keep spreading the words, because one day, we might be noticed. So thank you, everybody. Sonny, do you want to shout out your channel? You over there?
Sure. Yeah. I'm doing a lot more streams. I'm in a Shiny War on the Sunny Waffles SWP channel. Just a lot of Shiny War hunting, stream, watching different animes and some Doctor Who stuff. I have these books, the New Adventures. I'm starting with the 9th Doctor. I'm gonna read some of this on the stream. That's gonna be fun. So if you wanna, here you go. If you wanna hang out,
I'll go bigger. Don't worry, I'll go bigger.
Doctor Who. There we go. The script says if you wanna hang out, come by the SWP. Talk Doctor Who with me. Find some shiny Pokemon. It'll be fun.
Well, there you go. And Sunny Waffles, are one of our children of time, so to speak, and also Who Night. And hopefully we'll be on again and again and again. It's just we've had a bit of a rest, haven't we? We all need a rest. James, I would buy. Sounds dodgy, this one. I would buy generate, but you know what I mean. It was I would buy generate. But what are you up to?
Yeah, well, hopefully we'll be back with that tomorrow. If that's what the plan is. If it isn't, it isn't.
We're doing 6 o'clocks at the moment, so it's a kind of different, you know what I mean.
We'll see what we're doing on here. I'll make myself as amenable as I can, because it's really nice to be back. Thank you for having me back. I've really enjoyed it, man.
No, it,
I've been working with Ryan on Rumble, RRA 1999. I've been working with Will of the Fans on YouTube and doing my own stuff. My own stuff's had a bit of a break because first it was too hot, and then I had some family stuff, and then I had a vacation, and then I had some family stuff. But it's all coming back again now. Got some music videos coming out with no specific timeline. Some more, I should say. I don't think either of the ones that I've got up were already up last time I was here. So yeah, there's some music videos on my channel. Iris Roder 8592. But yeah, I'm just kind of really trying to do as much as I can with as many people as I can and say hello and just I just sounded like Latardis then. I just came to say hello.
No, it's good to have you back. I have so many different panelists and good friends, really, and it's hard to get us all on because obviously I'm knackered. I can't do I'm trying to do a show a day, but that doesn't last. In the end, I kind of collapse. But there will be a show tomorrow. It will be at 6 o'clock. If I give you a taster, I'll check out on James tomorrow. Problem being, it's going to be a quiet one. And Thursday at 6 o'clock, everybody, Joe's back. Joe Chapman. You all liked her yesterday. So, the next 2 days, 6 p.m. And then Brendan is off. Weekend, life. So see us all tomorrow. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Really, really thank you. It's lovely to see you. There's a good laugh. Far sight. Please forgive me. I missed you. And I'm sorry about that. My bad. Thanks, lads. And we'll do this again. That was the news that Ncuti'S is no longer with us because it's been announced now, apparently.